Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through a post-dip filing and shaping routine for you. So I'm going to show you how I get my almond shape back after my dip routine and how I use my hand file and e-file. So I've got these two beautiful colors here from Mani Boss that we'll be using to make our manicure, and then we'll go through that filing and shaping process. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around, we're getting into it. Okay, so first let's talk about the status of my nails. They're looking a little rough right now. My nails and my skin around my nails both. I had actually done a different manicure before this and I hated it, and the whole thing just made me mad, so I just took it all off. So I do use Peel Base, so I was able to get it off, but I was also kind of doing some cleanup around my nail beds, and anyway, they got a little roughed up, so I'm sorry. But that's okay, because we're going to cover them up with these two pretty colors from Mani Boss. So I have here Amazin Raisin and Plum Crazy, which are part of their newest release. So I'm going to be using these two today. And I will leave a small bit of the dipping process in here, but most of it I'm going to speed through just so that we can get to the filing and shaping.
Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day, mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. I know you don't wanna talk, but just pick up the phone. We could go for a walk, talk about the things we know. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day, mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up?
Okay, so I'm slowing things down here just for a little bit because I want to go over something with you. I do this with pretty much all of my glitters, and sometimes with some of the solids I use too. I will stop before I dip and clear and clean up the sides again. And yeah, I know we're going to do this anyway after we dip and clear and activate, but it kind of helps just almost pre-shape them if I just will clean up the sides where I've placed glitter before dipping them in the clear. And it also means I have better adherence of the clear because it's not being blocked by any glitter that might be on the sides of the nail.
Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely.
So now that you've seen how we got here, let's talk about the shaping process. I do usually like to start with my hand file. I'm using a McCart 100-180 here. I really just probably should just buy 180 straight because that's all I use is that side really. I mean, I very rarely use that 100. But anyway, I'll use the 180 side, and I will just start by cleaning up these sides again and bringing back that sharp point. And now if you're not doing almondettos like I'm doing, you're doing more straight almond with the rounded top, then you obviously would round yours a little bit out more than I am, but I like to keep mine sharp. So I'm just starting at the base and kind of almost like curving up the hand file as I go so that I get a nice curved shape. With almonds, you really don't want that sharp, straight edge. You really want more that curved edge to keep that almond shape. And as you can see, I'm moving my hands in different ways, and I constantly do that throughout the hand filing process, because a lot of times you'll see something from one angle and think it looks pretty good, but you'll do it from another angle and you'll see it doesn't. So, or you missed something, I guess I should say. So it really does help to keep your hands moving, keep looking at it from different angles, lay it out flat, hold it like a nail fee, do whatever you need to do to get it from all angles, because it really does make a difference when you see it from multiple angles. Now, as you can see, I'm filing all the way down to the cuticle here with my hand file, but I am not filing on my skin, and I am really not filing the natural nail bed. I'm filing the dip on top. So what I'm doing is, yes, I'm going all the way down to the cuticle, but I am filing around the sides from the cuticle to the free edge with the hand file with the dip on top of my nail. Now, I don't have very deep set nail beds, so I can do this pretty easily without hurting myself. Obviously, if your nail beds are more deep set, you may not be able to do this. You may only be able to file on the actual free edge, but you can always go in with your e-file to get better cleanup if that's your issue. But if you're like me and you have at least moderate to shallow nail beds, then you're fine with going all the way down. Just make sure that you're not filing the skin, and make sure that you're not really filing underneath and catching that natural nail. Once you're done with the initial cleanup of your shape with your hand file, then you can go in with your e-file. Now, an e-file is not required. You can do 100% hand filing, dip routine. That's up to you. I do find it to be really helpful for me and definitely a time saver. So I do use one, and I will show you how I use it. So I have the iGel Beauty Model XS here. It's my newest one. And then I've got the fine titanium diamond bit on it. So I'm just going to use that to clean up the shape. I use mine around 8,000 RPMs. That's a good speed that works for me. It's fast enough without taking chunks out of my dip when I'm e-filing, but it's also not so fast that I'm taking off too much at once, because I only have a few layers on here, so I want to go slow with this. Now, I am filing my dominant hand, which means I am using my e-file in my non-dominant hand, and you may notice here it looks like I hold it kind of funny. That's because I am. I'll be honest, I'm holding it kind of ridiculously. But that's the only way I can seem to hold it with my non-dominant hand and make it work for me. So play around with how you hold yours. Don't be afraid to hold it in different ways until you find one that feels comfortable to you. And now I'm so used to this that I don't even think about it. But then I look at it on camera and I'm like, wow, I look really weird holding it like that. You may notice that this bit has a rounded top to it. It is considered a safety bit, and what that does is it really protects your skin as you go around it from you injuring your skin. So I like it not because I'm afraid of my e-file. I'm definitely not, but I can get really tight into the cuticles and sidewalls and not have to worry about cutting my skin getting in so close with the bit. And you can probably see all I'm doing is I start first by going around the cuticle area and the sidewalls, and what I'm trying to do is rounding off that harsh line I created with my hand file. So I made kind of a straight edge there, and I'm trying to round it back out again. So notice I'm holding my e-file kind of at an angle as I go around the sides to kind of get everything rounded back out. And then once I do it, I will go over the top with the e-file to again clean up the rounded shape over top. So I'm looking at it from different angles, making sure I'm getting it rounded on the sides and across the top. And I've given you a side on angle here so you can see what I mean. And it's not done yet, but the point is you can see that that flat edge that I had created with the hand file is now starting to be smoothed out the way I'm going around the edges with the e-file. The rest of what you're going to be seeing here is me e-filing with my dominant hand, and I'm just a little faster on this side for obvious reasons. So I wanted you to see kind of real time how much this takes me to go around the sides and over the top and just kind of clean up the shape. And we'll get to the glitters here in a minute.
Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go waste another day, mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. I know you don't wanna talk, but just pick up the phone. We could go for a walk, talk about the things we know. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen.
You can see as I work, I'm spending most of the time on the sides and then the very pointy tip. I don't want too much thickness in those areas. I want it to kind of look smooth and seamless, and I want to keep that apex shape. So I don't want too much bulk at the tip because then it makes it really hard to pick things up, frankly. So, and remember, I'm only using 2 to 3 dips on each of these nails, so there's really not a lot that needs to be quote unquote taken off over top. It's really mostly just the sides, the cuticle area, and the very free edge that I'm trying to reshape.
What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I?
Now my glitter nails have been dipped in 1 layer of clear, so there is a little bit of leeway here, but you'll notice I don't spend very much time going over the top of any glitters. And I've said this before, but the reason that I do that is because I don't want to file too much into the glitters and risk cutting into them and having them have a silver inside and totally ruin the glitter effect I was going for. So, you know, focus mostly on the sides, and again, you'll have less to do here because you've already kind of pre-cleaned that up with the hand file before dipping clear, so there's really not much to do. So those 2 glitter nails you'll see there, they took the least amount of time.
Lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely. Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go waste another day, mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely.
So after I get done with all that, I will typically go wash my hands with Dawn dish liquid and a scrubby brush and just kind of get all that excess powder off, and then I will dry them really well, and I will come back 1 more time with my hand file and just clean up anything that I missed. So now that everything's been kind of shaped and buffed and all that, I'm looking to see if there's any further sharpening that I want to do, and sometimes there is.
Lost in my way, I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone
So we pretty much reached the end of the filing and shaping process at this point. So I just like to go back one more time, look at my nails from different angles, see if I missed anything that I want to go back over one more time. And then as long as everything looks good, I will take my very fine polar buffing block here and I will buff. I will buff, not bluff. I will buff over the top. And I like this very fine sanding block from Polar Block, but you know, anything that's fine grit will work. Basically what you're trying to do is, you know, I smoothed it out pretty well with the e-file, but there's still ridges and bumps here just like anything else. So it's best if you take your buffing block and just kind of really go over everything and try to smooth it back out again. I'm notoriously bad for skipping this step, and I'm lucky because usually my gel that I use on top will kind of just cover up anything that I didn't smooth out. But really best practice is take your buffing block, really smooth over everything just to make sure you got a nice smooth canvas for your top coat, whether you're using dip or gel. Okay, so here's what we're left with. So we're just going to take our alcohol and our lint-free wipe and just wipe everything down really good, get that extra dust off before we go in with our top coat. And then I'm going to be using the Mani Boss 2-in-1 Gel Base and Top Coat. You would have seen this in my last video if you watched it. I really did like this, and I felt like since I was already using Mani Boss powders, I might as well use this again, right? So I've got this here. So after I've wiped down with alcohol, I will go ahead and just place this right on top and cure it. But if you're using dip top coat, that's totally fine. After you wipe down with alcohol, you'll go in with your second layer of activator, let it sit, and then put on your dip top coat as usual.
Talk about the things we know. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold.
And that's the finished look. So what do you guys think of these colors? I just think this glitter is absurdly cool. Wait till you see it in the sunlight, it's beautiful. And I have matching hands for once because I'm going to work during the daylight hours this week, so I figured it would be best to just, you know, keep that matching. But if you guys have questions or any comments about how I do my shaping, I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. I'd love to continue the discussion there. And I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, it would help me out so much if you give me a thumbs up down below. And I hope you'll also consider subscribing before you go. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.